Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Juliet Bourke. I'm the Chair of Ovarian Cancer Australia, and it's my absolute honour to welcome you to the 2025 Teal Ribbon Parliamentary Breakfast. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're gathering today, the Ngunnawal people, and I pay my respects to elders past, present, and extend that respect, of course, to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are here today. It's with great honour that we unveil the powerful artwork No Woman Walks Alone by, and apologies if I mispronounce this, Kuku Yalanji. I hope I got that right, artist Tasha Davis. We're proud to share this inspiring piece with you today, and we look forward to showcasing it in the future. And today we gather at a pivotal time during Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. I'm sure that you know that this is the month that we're in now. It's a very busy month for our people, and it's a very important month on our calendar. And February 11th within that month holds special significance for Ovarian Cancer Australia. It's a day marking the first rally led by Sheila Lee and her partner Grace in 2001, which laid the foundation for this organisation, Ovarian Cancer Australia. Sheila's vision was powerful but very simple. It was to create space for women and their families to find connection, share stories, and receive the support they need. And that vision remains core to everything we do today at Ovarian Cancer Australia. Our team at Ovarian Cancer Australia, and no doubt you've met some of those this morning, and I pay my heartfelt respects to them for the wonderful job that they do, is made up of passionate professionals, nurses, psychologists, counsellors, advocates, and fundraisers who all work to provide free, evidence-based care and services and advocate for the increasing funding of research and better treatment options for women with ovarian cancer. One of our proudest commitments, and thank you to all of those at View today who are wearing the Teal Support Ribbon and Ovarian Cancer's Ribbon, one of our proudest commitments is to the Teal Support Program, which, thanks to recent government funding, and thank you so much to the government for this, has been strengthened and extended until 2027. This program is a critical resource that provides tailored support to women facing ovarian cancer across Australia. And our advocacy efforts have led to significant victories, including securing PBS funding for life extending. You'll have to forgive me, I've literally just flown in and I still am suffering from a little jet lag, so whatever time it is in Canberra is not my personal time. Life-extending PRP inhibitors and extending funding for Track Forward, a study that examines genetic changes in ovarian cancer tumours over time, aiming to better understand the factors that may increase resistance, and initiatives like the Parliamentary Breakfast and the Senate inquiry continue to push for better care and outcomes for women with ovarian cancer, and we're grateful for that. We're grateful for the ongoing support from the Department of Health and Government. So thank you to the government for extending that support to us until 2027. We're also very privileged to be addressed this morning by Assistant Minister for Health and Aged Care, the Honourable Jed Carney MP, and the Shadow Minister for Health and Aged Care, the Senator, the Honourable Anne Ruston. And I myself look forward to hearing from both of them. Senator Ruston joins our parliamentary ambassadors, Meryl Swanson MP, who's also in attendance, welcome Meryl, and Senator Sarah Hanson-Young, who sends her apologies today. I also welcome parliamentarians and staff from across the House and Senate, and of course I welcome all of you here as well, because it is an early morning and some of you might not have been in Parliament before at 7 a.m. I myself have not been in Parliament at 7 a.m. before, so I know what it is to get up at this time. We also extend a warm welcome to leaders from the sector, including Robin Penty, CEO of Ovarian Cancer Research Foundation, Alison Evans, CEO of Australia-New Zealand Gynecological Oncology Group, as well as representatives from our partners Terry White, Chemmart, thank you so much, Winston, Hare House and Black Pepper, and together we push forward in our mission, and we really appreciate the sponsorship and the financial support that you provide to us, so thank you for coming. At the heart of all of this is the reason that we're here today. And that reason is a very fundamental one. It's about women and it's their families. And that's the reason that I'm drawn to Ovarian Cancer Australia. It's all about supporting women. This breakfast is for countless women who've bravely shared their stories and for those who've never had the chance to speak. It's for every life touched by ovarian cancer. As many of you know, ovarian cancer is the most lethal force of female cancer in Australia. It has a survival rate, unfortunately, of 49% after 5 years. Every day, 5 women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and we lose 3 of them. And that is just not good enough. These numbers represent real women, real families, and real pain. And that's why our work is so urgent. And that's why I so appreciate you making the effort to support us today and continue your support throughout the years. At this time, I'd like to invite you to join me in a moment of silence to offer those that we've lost to ovarian cancer and to reflect on the gravity of the issue and to renew our commitment to making a difference. So if we just take 1 minute to remember. Thank you. Well, it's a great privilege now to introduce our keynote speaker. Some of you might have heard from her before. She's wonderful, Georgie Beck, who was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2022. She's here today to share her powerful and important story. And alongside her are her partner John and parents Terry and Tina, and brother and sister-in-law Richard and Kate. So please join me in warmly welcoming Georgie, and then followed Debbie Shiell, our CEO, will follow Georgie shortly thereafter. So thank you, Georgie.
What is your fear? Do you fear spiders? Do you fear your credit card bill? Do you fear heights? Fear is being told you have the most lethal women's cancer in Australia. Fear is being told it has spread and it is stage 4. Fear is telling your 12, 14 and 16-year-old sons. Fear is having your first chemo and stop breathing because of an allergic reaction. Fear is the nurse saying, we'll start that chemo again, just slower. Fear is being told they have postponed your chemo because you don't have enough white blood cells. Fear is walking into hospital for 12-hour surgery to have 8 organs removed. Fear is waking up in ICU with tubes and machines everywhere. Fear is still being there 6 days later. Fear is holding your breath every 3 months waiting for scan results. Fear is suddenly having excruciating pain in your ear and face that gets worse every day. Fear is having brain scans for that pain in your head and being told it's chemo damage and it's not going away, so you have to take nerve blockers 3 times a day for the rest of your life. Fear is being told your cancer is back. Fear is starting a different chemo and having another allergic reaction that makes you stop breathing. Fear is being told your cancer is not going away. Fear is knowing you are running out of treatment options because there have been no major advances in 30 years. Ovarian cancer is all-consuming, and the fear is with us all the time. So how do you cope with that fear? And what do you do with it? Thankfully, in 2022, when I was first diagnosed, Ovarian Cancer Australia were there. My oncologist said at our first meeting, do not Google, ring OCA for information. But of course, being newly diagnosed, I went and Googled, and it was terrifying. I still remember one of the comments was, There aren't many ambassadors for ovarian cancer because the survival rate is so low. So slamming my laptop closed, I rang Ovarian Cancer Australia, and they were incredible. They showed me there was a team ready for me. First, they sent me their resilience kit, which had all the practical information I needed to stay offline. It was a wealth of knowledge and answers to questions I didn't even know I had to ask. They also set me up with Catherine, my Teal support nurse, who has become my brain's trust in the last 2.5 years. I've been able to call or text her anytime and ask her any kind of advice. I've called her countless times, like when they cancelled my chemo and I didn't understand. When I had strange side effects and I needed reassurance or practical relief. And when she found out I wasn't sleeping, she organised entry to Can Sleep, an online insomnia clinic which helped me get the rest I need. She also calls me once a month to check in on where I'm at and what my current symptoms are and how she can ease the burden of this awful cancer. A Teal nurse will be with me for my whole journey, and this gives me comfort. I thank her for her dedication, care and incredible knowledge, and this program really resonates the OCA vision of no woman walks alone, and has definitely helped alleviate my fear and anxiety. I was also connected to the Younger Women's Support Group as I was under 50 when diagnosed. They admitted me to their Facebook support group, a safe space where we ask questions to others with lived experience, vent to women who understand, and we call each other Teal sisters as a sign of community. But all too often we say goodbye, and these online friends that we share our journey with become our Teal angels. I thank Ovarian Cancer Australia for having these resources, and they are constantly adapting and growing them to make our lives a little easier. And I feel connected to others on the same journey. So why is ovarian cancer so deadly? Because it has no early detection test. Because the symptoms are so vague and unusual for so many women, so are dismissed by the doctors. Because it's mostly diagnosed at later stages. Because the treatments have not changed for 30 years, and patients like myself become resistant to the drugs. And because it recurs in 70% of cases for no known reason. So as you can see, there's a lot of work to be done. So what do you show your teenage boys? My 16-year-old son, Jack, showed me what to do. He called OCA on his own and bought a fundraising kit. He sold ribbons and bracelets and pens to the students and teachers at his all-boys school. He was not afraid that this was a taboo cancer. He also sold them to his sister's school and raised awareness and $6,000 for OCA. He showed us how to harness our fear for good. So since then, we want to show you that we will harness this fear and make noise and ask people, why hasn't there been change? We will turn this fear into some kind of good. And I will be an ambassador for as long as I can to raise awareness about ovarian cancer so it can get the attention it desperately needs. And hopefully the dismal survival trajectory can change. Now, I know I look fabulous today and healthy, and you're thinking, oh, she's all good now, it's great. But what does my prognosis look like? I was diagnosed with stage 4 in 2022. I only finished 28 rounds of cancer treatment last November. However, blood tests in January, only 8 weeks into a treatment break, showed elevated cancer markers. So I had a scan last week, and the results will be clear in the next couple of days. My oncologist is thinking that I will enter a clinical trial for the next phase of treatment, and that dreaded 5-year survival marker inches closer. I'm really sorry to tell you, but this happened to me with no genetic markers and no warning. So you should be afraid, because this can happen to you. your mother, your sister, your daughter, your wife or your friend. So I need your help to change this fear into hope. I need your help to spread the word, to get more research and more support for my Teal sisters and their families. Ovarian Cancer Australia, along with the OCRF and ANZCOG, give me hope. I know there's a team of dedicated people working hard to change the trajectory of future women's lives, and I thank them for their incredible passion. Our journey needs more hope. We need change and support so other women and their loved ones don't have to go through what my family and I have. Thank you.
Georgie, thank you for sharing your very personal and raw story with us all here today. Thank you too to your boys, your family, for all you're doing to shout about and shine a light on ovarian cancer. I know you speak of fear, and thanks to your brilliant address today, we all feel that is real for you. I also see resilience and courage on a scale that is hard to define. Your words are powerful, we hear you, and thank you. Thank you, Juliet, for your earlier introduction. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet here today, the Ngunnawal people. I pay my respects to elders past and present and extend this to all who join us here today and in our communities always. This is the 11th Teal Parliamentary Breakfast. And as the leading voice for ovarian cancer, Ovarian Cancer Australia is proud to stand here today alongside members of our community impacted by ovarian cancer, their loved ones, our national leaders, our sector collaborators, our valued partners, Terry White Chemmart, Winston, Hair House and Black Pepper. I'm delighted that we gather here each year to challenge the silence around ovarian cancer, and I'm sad that we have to. Today is all about raising the voices of women across the country who have known the fear Georgie spoke of. It's for the countless women whose stories echo hers and for those who never had the opportunity to share theirs. Every day, 5 women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and that's 5,000 more women in the short while since Georgie received her diagnosis. But it's always more than a woman receiving the diagnosis. It's the family, her parents, her brothers and sisters, her children, her friends. We elevate the voices of those with lived experience not just because their stories are powerful, but because we know these voices are the catalyst for change. Uniting our community of women on this platform today to be heard by the policymakers and the health leaders shaping the future of this country doesn't just add to the conversation of policy reform, it brings them into the heart of the discussion. This is a shared human experience. Thank you for hearing the women of Australia through Georgie today. And to be clear, their stories are not calls for compassion. They are urgent demands for action. And we must answer their call and demand the energy and commit the time and make the investment, and we cannot afford to wait. Every day, 3 Australian lives are ended too early because of this disease. This year alone, 210 women have received the words no woman wants to hear, and already 126 have lost their lives, and it's only the second sitting week of the year. Together, we must do more. As we finalise Ovarian Cancer Australia's new strategic plan, our vision is clear. It is for a future free from ovarian cancer, free from the risk, free from the impact, free from the heartbreak, free from the silence, free from the devastating loss it brings to community and their families, and free from the fear. And until that day, Ovarian Cancer Australia will stand for and walk with women and all impacted by ovarian cancer. We will ensure no one walks alone. The National Women's Health Strategy focuses on improving health outcomes for Australian women through equity, consumer-driven care, targeted interventions for priority populations, and many more initiatives. The Australian Cancer Plan outlines national priorities to achieve world-class cancer outcomes and experiences for all Australians. And Ovarian Cancer Australia is proud to be collaborating with Cancer Australia through a partnership agreement to help deliver on this plan. At the heart of both of these strategies and Ovarian Cancer Australia's mission is equity. Equity in investment, voice, treatment options, access, and outcomes. Equity in care. And equity is not a distant goal. It is actually within our reach. But change takes time. And until then, Ovarian Cancer Australia continues to deliver the vital care and support for women and families facing ovarian cancer today. We do this through our Teal support program that includes specialist psychosocial support and the government-funded Teal nursing program. Our team specialises in gynecological oncology and has expertise in ovarian cancer care. In a rapidly changing landscape, our nurses keep across the complexities of genetics and genomics and novel treatments for ovarian cancer to guide and support our community. Our Teal support model has several unique strengths. Once on the program, women have the same nurse from diagnosis to survivorship or through to the end of their life. Because of this, we build strong and deep connections with our women, and we hear time and time again that they feel like that they can talk to their nurse about anything. Our specialist support is also provided at different times during treatment and beyond. This not only allows women to reach out as needed, but also sees our nurses checking in when we know from experience that the wheels can silently fall off. These therapeutic relationships also enable the nurses to tailor the support specific to the needs of the individual, such as utilising an interpreter service to provide ongoing cancer care to a woman in regional Australia for almost 3 years. Changing appointments because some women can't speak with us about certain issues, while others are around due to cultural beliefs. Providing advice and support to women with ovaries, for people with ovaries for whom treatment in a women's hospital only adds to the stress of their diagnosis. Supporting older women from rural Australia who live alone, have never married and have no family. They sometimes share with us we are the only voice they hear all week. And even for those women who have support around them, they feel like they can talk to their nurse about the challenges like fear of death that they simply can't share with their closest loved ones. This is an incredibly lonely disease. We also recognise that a diagnosis comes amidst the complexities of life. Like one woman on our program who just a week before receiving her diagnosis lost her husband of 35 years. Or a single mother we're supporting who has had to withdraw from treatment, is now in palliative care. Her greatest concern is not herself, but who will care for her child with disabilities when she's gone. Our pilot case management program that commenced back in 2019 has evolved into a successful telehealth model that supports anyone, anywhere in Australia and at any time of their ovarian cancer experience. This is person-centred care at its best. And we are delighted to now be part of the Australian Cancer Nursing and Navigation Program, and we are deeply grateful to the government for this key investment in cancer nursing in Australia. This is an exciting milestone for our Teal support program that could not have been reached without bipartisan support. And we are proud to be a critical member delivering this program alongside partners including the McGrath Foundation, Cancer Council Australia, and the team at the Department of Health, many of whom are with us here today. As many of you know, I am new to this role, and in my short time here, I have been deeply moved by the dedication of the board and the incredible team at Ovarian Cancer Australia. Their passion for our mission is undeniable. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge and thank them for their tireless work, and including bringing today together. What has stood out most to me is the genuine willingness of people across the sector to work together. I'm inspired by the collaboration between Ovarian Cancer Australia, the Ovarian Cancer Research Foundation, and the Australian and New Zealand Gynecological Oncology Group, and many other partners. Together, we have built a united coalition with a bold plan, not just to realise the vision of the National Cancer and the Women's Health and Genomic Strategies, but to accelerate progress to drive real and lasting change for women with gynecological cancers. This transformational initiative will harness a once-in-a-generation opportunity to revolutionise diagnosis, treatment and care pathways for women with gynecological cancers. It will enable more equitable access to molecular profiling and precision medicine and support clinical teams to deliver care that is driven by innovation. This collaboration will transform gynecological cancer research, address knowledge gaps, identify new targets for treatments, and expand access to clinical trials. And accompanying all of this is equitable access to personalised, supportive care for women. We are determined to bring this vision to a reality, but determination alone won't make it happen, only investment will. Ovarian cancer is the quintessential example of how we have let women down. A lack of investment in research, a lack of treatment options, a lack of understanding of the pain and conditions that specifically impact women, and a deprioritisation of their voices has all led to a stubbornly low 5-year survival estimate of 49%. The same 5-year survival estimate for all cancers in 1975. The scale of this challenge isn't the reason to hesitate, it's the reason to act. And you are going to see us all working together more and more because we know we are stronger together. With our unity and the support of everyone in the room, this can be the year we truly move the needle for ovarian cancer. And we can't just wish for a future free of ovarian cancer. We have to create it together, with action and without delay. As Juliet mentioned, February 11th holds deep significance for Ovarian Cancer Australia. It marks the first rally led by the late Sheila Lee, whose vision laid the foundation for the legacy we all continue to build today. We hope to see you at next year's breakfast, not just to reflect on the steps we have taken, but to recognise the leaps forward we have made to ensure that no woman with ovarian cancer walks alone. Thank you.
Hard to keep your tissues dry, isn't it? That was amazing. Thank you, Georgie, so much for that. And also Debbie, that was very inspiring. So we're grateful to both of you for your support of us and your leadership of Ovarian Cancer Australia. I now welcome the Assistant Minister, Health Minister, the Honourable Jed Carney, to speak. Thank you.
Thanks, Juliet. And good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming along today. I'd like to acknowledge the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people on whose lands we gather this morning and pay my respects to elders past and present and all First Nations people with us today. The Honourable Anne Rusden, and you know, we do often share these platforms and it's lovely to have you here this morning. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave straight away, so I will miss what you say, but we'll catch up, no doubt. Georgie, amazing. I'll come back to you a little later. And Debbie, thank you for those beautiful words. To all my wonderful parliamentary colleagues that are here, I see so many of you, and if I start to say, I will miss someone. But thank you for your support. It's incredibly important to have you here and to hear these very important messages. Meryl, you do amazing work as the ambassador. I just have to tell you that she is in my ear constantly, banging on my door, wanting this issue to be elevated here in these halls. So thank you, Meryl. You do an amazing job. I think I've acknowledged everyone that I should. So it is a very moving morning. Georgie, what an amazing speech you made to talk about fear. It's very real. I know that. And I myself have had that fear, but on the other side, as a family member, going through what you're going through. And it's very real. But to hear you talk about your beautiful boy harnessing that fear gives us energy, it gives us hope. And it was a beautiful way to show that how that fear can be turned to resilience and to good things. So thank you for sharing that. Debbie, thank you for taking us through the wonderful work, and Juliet, of the Ovarian Cancer Australia. Truly amazing organisation, one that I'm very proud to share this day with and very proud to work with. We were very glad to see those PBS listings. They were very important, great breakthrough. Very pleased to still support the Track Forward project and the Cancer Nurses program. It's great to see how you just sort of, adapted and flexed and worked with them, which is typical of women, I think, to go ahead and just work with what they've got. And, as a nurse myself, I love hearing lovely things about nurses. So to hear the Teal support nurse and how your nurse has supported you, Georgie, more broadly, the wonderful work that they do right across the spectrum for people in rural and regional areas, for gender diverse people, for everyday women. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. The depth and breadth of that support is extraordinary. And I really do look forward to the new strategic plan. I look forward to working with you on that. I think I've probably said this to you before, though you can have strategic plans and visions, but the most powerful thing for policy is to have you here in these halls telling your stories. So thank you for doing that. You might have noticed that on the weekend we announced a very large women's health package. I'm very proud of it myself. But you're absolutely right, Debbie. I mean, that's $500 million to support women's health. The issues that affect women and women's illnesses have for far too long been the poor cousin of research, of funding, of pharmaceutical advances. And they don't get the attention they deserve. And you're absolutely right. There's lots of reasons for that, which I would love to go into. But in the very short time I have with you this morning, I just want to say that I am determined. I'm absolutely determined to shine a light on the issues, the health issues that affect women. We've made a start. There's a lot more to do. And I can't do it without wonderful organisations like Ovarian Cancer Australia. I can't do it without the wonderful people that come here to advocate for women's health. I can't do it without women with lived experience telling their stories. So I need you. I need you to keep coming here. I need to keep highlighting the fabulous work that you do and the issues that you advocate for, because ultimately we want more Teal sisters and fewer Teal angels. Thanks for having me, everyone. It's been marvellous.
As this morning goes on, I'm feeling more and more encouraged. I'm feeling more and more lighter. I don't know if you are too. And to hear your wonderful words, your support for equity, calling that out when I think about global politics at the moment and issues elsewhere in equity. It's so heartening to hear that Australia still uses the word equity and it means something. And for your personal commitment as well. Taking the time to be here this morning is very important, but we also hear, and I hear, that it's not just this morning, it's behind the scenes, and that's actually what's more important than anything. So thank you, Assistant Minister Jed Kearney, for your advocacy and support for women's health and ovarian cancer, Australia in particular. I now welcome to the stage Senator the Honourable Anne Ruston, Shadow Minister and Ovarian Cancer Parliamentary Advisor. Welcome.
Absolute pleasure. Look, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I think this is probably my fourth breakfast, and it never, ever ceases to amaze me how the voice of somebody with lived experience just changes the way you think about something. So to you, Georgie, you have no idea how impactful what you just did is on every single person in this room, and I most particularly speak about my colleagues that are in here. You can read a million briefing notes, you can read a million stories, You can see things at a distance, but nothing makes up for actually hearing your story. As a mother of a son, who I would hope would do the same thing as your beautiful boy did for you, I think that's the kind of thing that just moves everybody to understand that we must do more and we will do more. And on that note, can I acknowledge Jed, even though she's had to rush off. In this place we have so many things that we can fight over, and you can be assured that we do. But when you turn up to an event like this, you actually realise that there's some things that are above fighting over. And can I lend my collective voice to some of the things that Jed talked about this morning? On the weekend, when the announcement of the women's health package came out, it was a great package. It was a really good package, and we will match it, because the women of Australia don't need us fighting over their health. They need us united over their health, and I'm absolutely determined, as the alternative health minister, that I will absolutely stand side by side with anybody who makes the good decision that's going to deliver really good outcomes for Australian women. To Debbie and Juliet, can I just say, Debbie, you mightn't have been here very long, but boy, you've made an impact since you've got here. The passion with which you just spoke tells us that you have, that Ovarian Cancer Australia has definitely got the right person as their CEO, and we look very much forward to working with you over the coming years to make sure that we actually change the dial when it comes to this particular issue. Can I also acknowledge Meryl and Sarah Hanson-Young, who, along with me, and I'm very proud to be an ovarian cancer ambassador in this place. And I think the fact that you've got somebody who represents a minor party, somebody who represents the government, somebody who represents the opposition, and every single one of us are absolutely committed to making sure that the voice of every single person that's come to the Parliament in support of ovarian cancer is heard loud and clear in this place. But I suppose more than anything, I just wanted to acknowledge the really important complexity of a journey when it comes to a cancer diagnosis, and hoping to one day be able to stand here and say that the statistics around ovarian cancer aren't the statistics that we still hear today, and we've just heard from our previous contributors. And we must do more. We must do more in research. We must do more in treatment. But more than anything, making sure that we do more about supporting women on their journey. And hopefully, as the Assistant Minister said, that journey is about ambassadors and it's not about angels going into the future. So we were very pleased, even though it was only a small commitment when at the first budget in reply, to say that the ask for $4 million from Ovarian Cancer Australia, that we absolutely in government will provide that funding in recognition of the extraordinary important work that Ovarian Cancer Australia does. But we know that there is a lot more to do, and we very much look forward to working with you as you develop your strategic plan, because, as is rightly been mentioned already today, a plan is not worth the paper it's written on if it sits on a shelf. It's only worth the paper it's written on if the outcomes in it that are recommended are actually delivered. So I very much look forward to walking and continuing to walk the journey with Ovarian Cancer Australia. I think we've all been touched somewhere in our lives by somebody who has had ovarian cancer. I have, obviously, like all of you, my own personal story, which is why ovarian cancer is so close to my heart. So I very much look forward to continuing to work with you. And thank you for everything you do. Without your voices, none of this would happen. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Senator Ruston, for your support and commitment. And it's wonderful to hear that if you were in government, then you would match the women's healthcare package, and also that you maintain your financial support for Ovarian Cancer Australia. So thank you. And also thank you at a personal level that you're here today. And I'd also like to acknowledge Mel McCluskey, who's on our board here and has been on our board for a while, and manages finance and risk as the chair of finance and risk. And we need that management, like every good organisation. So on behalf of Ovarian Cancer Australia and the ovarian cancer community, thank you for being here again. Thank you for your continued support. Today we stand united, turning the fear that you talked about, Georgie, that comes with a diagnosis into hope. And you also spoke about hope. And Debbie, you spoke about action And that's what we're here to do today, to talk about action and what we can do to make a difference. So thank you to all of you who are here for standing up for women with ovarian cancer, and in particular supporting Ovarian Cancer Australia. We're very grateful that you would take the time out of your busy diaries to be with us here today. Thank you all for attending, and I hope you please stay and enjoy each other's company, as well as a few croissants that are left over. Thank you.